Over the last couple of weeks, there have been a lot of reports coming out tying Sean Payton to the head coaching job of the Arizona Cardinals. Bookies.com gives the Cardinals the best odds at landing Sean Payton as their head coach in 2023 over the Denver Broncos, the Chargers, and the Dallas Cowboys. At this moment, Kliff Kingsbury is still the head coach of this franchise, but there is a lot of speculation that once this season ends, he won't be retained as the head coach for Arizona, opening up this head coaching vacancy to potentially be filled by Sean Payton. Now, if this job comes open, I'm pretty sure Sean Payton doesn't turn it down. This is a roster that I think is equipped to win as long as Sean Payton can come in and get some help up front on the offensive line and the defensive line of Arizona. The offensive line has a lot of aging veterans such as Justin Pugh, Rodney Hudson. You do have left tackle DJ Humphries, who is a Pro Bowl caliber tackle that you're going to have to work with, but you're probably going to have to revamp this team up front on the offensive line and on the defensive line, especially with J.J. Watt hitting retirement. You do have Zach Allen to work with, so there is a piece or two to work with up front if you're Sean Payton and you take this head coaching job. But outside of the defensive line and offensive line, you don't really have to touch anything else with the Arizona Cardinals. The wide receiver position is one of the best in the NFL. You got D-Hop, Marquise Brown, Robbie Anderson, Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch. At running back, you have James Conner, who is a Pro Bowl caliber player there. You're going to have Kyler Murray. Regardless of the questions that you're going to have about him post-ACL injury, I don't think he's going to go from what he was pre-ACL to just falling off the face of the earth. I think with Sean Payton at the helm, he's going to put Kyler Murray in the system that's going to maximize his strengths. And I think that Kyler Murray, we could see him play his best football potentially under Sean Payton if he does end up getting this head coaching job. And if I was a betting man, I would bet all my money on Arizona landing Sean Payton. You compare this potential job opening to the other ones that are going to be out there, this is the best one. You look at the Denver Broncos. Does Sean Payton really want to go to Denver to see if he can squeeze any juice left in the tank out of Russell Wilson? You don't even know if Russell Wilson even has any juice left in the tank. Plus, there's reports out there and rumors that Sean Payton wants his defensive coordinator to be Vic Fangio. Don't know if Vic Fangio will be on board for returning to Denver. You got the LA Chargers, who also have been heavily connected to Sean Payton over the last couple of weeks. But with them clinching a spot in the playoffs, it looks like Brandon Staley has that team headed back in the right direction. They're now starting to get healthy. I think the Chargers potentially could make a playoff run, and I don't really see Brandon Staley heading anywhere for the foreseeable future. The Dallas Cowboys are also a team to watch in the Sean Payton sweepstakes. It really depends on what they do in the playoffs. If they lose in a wild card round, there definitely could be some conversations about if Mike McCarthy should come back as the head coach for Dallas in 2023. But overall, I think that the Arizona Cardinals are probably the premier favorites to get Sean Payton as their head coach. If he can get his hands on Kyler Murray, with this talent that they already have at wide receiver and on the defensive side of the football, I mean, Marco Wilson is having a sensational season for Arizona, and nobody's talking about it. Not to mention, you got Budda Baker Thompson, one of the best safety duos in the NFL. You got Byron Murphy, who is a pretty solid cornerback as well. You pair him up, Marco Wilson, you can get a third cornerback in there. You have a pretty good secondary. Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons are pretty good linebackers, especially with Vic Fangio. If he ends up becoming the defensive coordinator, I think Arizona with Sean Payton could end up being a legitimate Super Bowl contender next season if he ends up becoming the head coach of this organization. Then, if you're the Cardinals ownership and you're trying to find a way to pitch Sean Payton, I mean, I don't really think it's all that hard. You can say, hey, Sean, I mean, we do have Kyler Murray. Look at the Broncos. They got Russell Wilson. Kyler Murray is way better than Russell Wilson. The Colts, they don't even have a quarterback, and plus their roster needs a drastic overhaul. Then, if that's not enough to sweeten the deal for Sean Payton, just go ahead and give him the power of GM. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL. Not only that, but he's one of the greatest offensive minds in the history of the game. He's a proven winner. There aren't too many head coaches who not only coach the team, but also have executive power. I think Sean Payton deserves to have some say in how he wants this team to look based off the track record that he has. For the Arizona Cardinals, you look at what they have going into this offseason, $24.5 million in cap space, the 4th overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft. And it doesn't matter what compensation you give up to the New Orleans Saints. I don't really think you're going to have to give up the 4th overall pick in exchange for Sean Payton. And if you do, I probably wouldn't go through with that trade. I'll probably try to find somebody else. That 4th round pick is going to be huge for the Arizona Cardinals because you can do so much with it. You can go pass rusher. You can go offensive tackle. You can do a lot with that 4th overall selection, that 2023 NFL draft. So for Sean Payton, this is a perfect job for him if he's trying to win right away. Now, if he wants to go to a team and he wants to draft a quarterback and he wants to revamp and drastically overhaul the roster, then of course Indianapolis, Carolina will probably be some good options for him. But if he's trying to win right away, I think the Arizona Cardinals are the job that will allow him to do that. You got a pretty good roster. You got to revamp this team on the line of scrimmage, but you're going to have money to do that, and you're going to have the 4th overall selection. So potentially you could have a chance at drafting Will Anderson, Jalen Carter if he's there. You could get one of the better offensive tackles in the draft, Skoronski from Northwestern or Paris Johnson from Ohio State. So, I mean, for the Arizona Cardinals, if this job becomes available, I think it automatically is the best one out there. Carolina probably will be second, but they aren't the team that's listed as in these odds for the running for the Sean Payton sweepstakes. But I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be in the running. But for Sean Payton, going to Arizona will allow him the opportunity to win the Super Bowl right away. Now, you wonder when Sean Payton is going to get Kyler Murray back. Okay, you're definitely going to be asking questions about his health and the timetable for return. But from what I've been reading, most people expect them to return around week 1 or no later than week 6 of the 2023 regular season. You look at this division, futuristic-wise, the Rams, with their cap situation and the overall roster that they have, they need a lot of help at a lot of positions. I don't know if they're just going to bounce back like how everybody thinks, despite the fact that you are going to have your core pieces coming back. But even with Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Jalen Ramsey, is your roster going to be good enough to field a playoff or Super Bowl caliber football team at other positions? Don't know about that. The Seattle Seahawks, they have a young, promising roster. They also have a lot of draft capital. But at the same time, Sean Payton in this division, I think would instantly make Arizona probably be going toe-to-toe with the 49ers for the NFC West title. And you look at the 49ers, their roster is incredibly stacked. It definitely will be fun to see Kyle Shanahan versus Sean Payton in this division, and even Sean McVay versus Sean Payton in this division. You'll have 3 of the best offensive minds in the game in one division. Wouldn't get no better than that. Like I said, I think this happens. I want to see it happen. I want to see Kyler Murray work with one of the greatest offensive minds in NFL history. And I think with the Arizona Cardinals getting Sean Payton, you could see a similar effect to Bruce Arians when he ended up getting this job a couple of years back and what he did when he had Carson Palmer. Who else did he have? John Brown. Fantastic offenses. I mean, this Arizona Cardinals team right now, with a little work in the trenches, could win in 2023. But you guys let me know how you guys feel about the Arizona Cardinals being favorites to hire Sean Payton. Do you guys think Sean Payton would be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals in 2023? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure that you check out the JT Sports Podcast, available on all podcasting platforms. Wherever you get your podcast from, you can find the JT Sports Podcast.